Venezuela writes in and says, Tyson Tomko, or Tomko in TNA, seemed like he could have been a star. He had the looks, but maybe wasn't good at promos. What was Tomko like backstage? If you had any personal interaction with him, it'd be nice to know. As always, great show. Looking forward to more episodes.
When I met Tomko in TNA, yeah, he had the look, he had the size, but, and I think he's even said this too, he had a substance problem. He had a pill problem, I think. And he finally had to end up going to rehab to do something about that. But as far as being wild and rambunctious, he wasn't that. He was actually much, much quieter than you thought he would be. Because he was about 6'4", about 260, maybe more, maybe right in there. But big, impressive looking guy. And I wasn't impressed with his interviews, but that's when I met him. And I think he had, where did he come from when he went to TNA? WWF?
Yeah, he was with WWE for a little while, in fact. Raw for 3 years. Was he with Christian? Yeah, he was I think he was Christian's bodyguard at the time, and I think he would continue to be that in TNA for a while.
Mm-hmm. But no wild stories about him, not that I remember.
I'm going to give you one, actually. In a sad story, this is 2011. In a sad story, TMZ is reporting that former WWE and TNA wrestler Travis Tyson Tomko was arrested in St. Augustine, Florida yesterday, this is in 2011, on robbery charges. He essentially robbed a CVS pharmacy of oxycodone, then went into a Chili's restaurant, entered the Chili's restroom, and prepared his score and injected it. Then on Saturday, Tomko walked into the same pharmacy claiming he had lost his prescription of oxycodone and asked if anyone had turned it in. He left when the pharmacist told him that nobody had, only to return on Sunday and ask if they could advance him some pills. He was refused and left. Yesterday, he went back to the same pharmacist, I think, for all 15, and returned and asked the pharmacist for all of the 15 and 30 milligram oxycodone pills he had. Tomko then threatened the pharmacist, saying, "Don't make me hurt you," while he had in his hand and his shirt something pointing something, presumably pretending to have a gun. Upon being threatened, the pharmacist retrieved 3 bottles of oxycodone from a safe container, and essentially he was arrested shortly afterwards. So, man,
I would say he had oxy. That's one of the strongest opiates you can get, oxycodone. So I would say he had a problem with it, and what happened? Was he sentenced in that or what?
I can find out in a second. While I find that out, I'll give you my opinion. I can't find it. Very briefly, I'll give you my opinion, is that he always looked to me, he looked like just a big bouncer who was just put into WWE. He didn't look like a sort of, because he's like the size of a Brock Lesnar almost, he's a huge dude, a bodybuilder and all that kind of thing, like interesting look and everything, but he didn't have anything beyond that for me. I don't know how you feel about that, but as a viewer, I just thought, well, he's just another big guy. He was just a guy.
Yeah. That's exactly the way he was perceived, is the way I perceived him. I mean, if I perceive him as a talent, I don't know what's there that I can build on. He doesn't have an overpowering personality, an overpowering promo. He has a body that's big enough and good looking enough that where he could fit the role. But, and we've said 100 times, it's perception and story. I'm going to add perception in there. And he was a tough looking guy, but he just never got rolling in TNA. And the reason being is I never saw anything that was marketable about him in a top spot. You could use him underneath with something, and if you had time to maybe get to know, if I had time maybe to get to know him and tell a story with him, he would have done a lot better.